Blue opens the door for me instead of Steve, who was hiding. Blue and I didn't see Steve because we could hear him. Steve asked where he was until he poked his head from behind the thinking chair, and Blue and I found Steve. Steve figured that Blue wanted to hide in the living room too, but she didn't, so they played Blue's Clues to figure it out. Before cleaning, Steve saw the paw print wanted to play hide and seek too, so he counted to 5, and the paw print was below bottom right at first. Steve didn't see it or hear it, and then I saw it on the top right. Then, as Steve went to get his notebook from the side table drawer, she played hide and seek with Steve too and hid it, and Steve and I found the notebook on the side of side table drawer on her right side. After singing How to Play Blue's Clues, Steve went to the left, and I saw a clue, but Steve didn't. He didn't know what to do, but he asked whether the clue was in front of him or behind him on the snack table or in the felt frame, and I said the clue was behind Steve in the felt frame, and Steve saw the first clue on a clock and drew it in his notebook. First clue was a clock, and Steve needed to look for 2 more clues to figure out what Blue wanted to hide. After drawing the first clue, Steve saw the felt friends needed some help finding things. Steve saw a felt friend named Diana Diamond, who was looking for something but didn't know what it was, but explained that it was a diamond and remembered that it had a string and it can fly. And she was looking for a kite, and that's exactly what Diana Diamond was looking for, because the kite is a diamond, has a string, and flies. Then another felt friend named Sybil Circle arrived, and she too was looking for something, explained that it was a circle, and Sybil remembered something. It said the circle object was yellow and red, and it made a bouncy sound. She was looking for a ball, and was exactly what she was looking for, because the ball was a circle, had some yellow and red, makes a bouncy sound. Then another felt friend named Chris Crescent arrived, and he too was also looking for something too. He remembered it was a crescent and smelled sweet. It's meant to be eaten, and Chris was looking for a banana. That's exactly what he was looking for, because the banana was a crescent, smells sweet, and is meant to be eaten. After the 3 felt friends thanked Steve for helping them find their shape object, Sybil threw her ball to Steve to hold it for her, and Steve said a joke with the ball and said he had a ball. Then when it was mail time, Steve gave the ball to me to hold on to, and then Mailbox came through the window and played hide and seek too with Steve too, and he hid behind the thinking chair, although his flag and extension arm gave him away. Steve went behind the thinking chair, and Mailbox said that he was hiding from Steve, who decided to give Mailbox a surprise by scaring him and whispered, "Hey Mailbox, it's me, Steve." Mailbox screamed in fear and was caught and gave him the letter. As Steve went to look for Blue, he saw a pillow following him, but it had a clue on it, and each time Steve looked back at the pillow, it hid the clue until the pillow revealed the clue. Steve then drew the clue, and so far the clues were a clock and a pillow. Steve needed more info on where Blue wanted to hide. Steve then went over to Blue, who was reading a book called All About Blue, where everything and everyone was the color of blue. Then Blue scooted into the book to show her favorite part. So Steve scooted inside with her, and he was amazed and impressed with the book on how blue was. Then he heard a song called The Blues, and saw a sign about a girl dog singing the blues, and saw her. Steve knew that Blue loved music and figured that the girl dog singing the blues was Blue's favorite part. Steve tried to ask Blue, but he couldn't see her since everything and everyone was blue, until I found Blue with other blue dogs in the audience, cheering. Steve, who cheered too, asked Blue if it was her favorite part, but it wasn't. Then Steve saw some blue flowers, plants, and trees, and he knew Blue loved flowers and thought it was Blue's favorite part. He tried to ask her, but he couldn't see her again since it was very blue, and not even I could see Blue either. Then we heard a rustling sound, and we found Blue in a hydrangea bush. Steve asked Blue if this is her favorite part, but it wasn't either. Then Steve saw a blue costume store and went inside. He figured that Blue was hiding inside a costume, but because it was so blue, Steve couldn't see her. And Steve had an idea. Instead of seeing Blue, he could probably hear her like he did with her cheering in the audience and rustling in the bush. So Steve called out to Blue and told her to make the sound of the costume she was hiding in, and Blue howled, and she was in a blue wolf costume. The costume moved, and Steve found Blue and asked her if it was her favorite part. And the costume store was her favorite part, and it was Steve's too. Then Steve saw the 3rd clue on pajamas, and Steve drew it in his notebook. It was time to go to the thinking chair. Steve ran into the thinking chair, and the clues were a clock, a pillow, and pajamas. Steve realized that Tickety Tock was a clock, there's a pillow near her, and pajamas are in her closet, and the answer was the bedroom. Tickety Tock was on a night table near Steve's bed with a pillow and pajamas in the closet. Then Sybil Circle arrived to volunteer to help find Blue, and Steve were pleased. Then the girl dog arrived to volunteer too. Steve was about to count to 10, but the girl dog and Sybil had an idea. They wanted to count backwards from 10 instead. Steve then turned backwards to count to 10, but realized what they really meant. So they closed their eyes and counted from 10 to 1. As they arrived in the bedroom, Tickety Tock volunteered to help find Blue as well, and told everyone to find Blue, and they called out to her. I saw Blue by the desk and behind the laundry basket, but she moved quickly under the bed. Before looking under the bed, Steve had an idea. He remembered the ball Sybil gave to him and I, so we decided to count to 3 and roll the ball under the bed to see what happens, and did it twice, and Blue rolled the ball out twice, and when they looked under the bed, Blue moved quickly on top of the bed and was found. Then Steve sung the so long song, and I gave the ball back.